Hello and welcome back to another Shy Forest Productions YouTube video and Chris Van Ingen's motivational series for 2025 called Live a Peak Life. In this week's episode of Live a Peak Life, I'm going to talk about being street smart. For my advice for future men is to make sure you are street smart. Now, there are many ways of being street smart, and it's important to work out how you personally can be street smart. But here are a few of the 40 things that I like to focus on when thinking about being street smart. Because I have a disability, and I'm very physically limited, the first lesson my dad ever taught me is to think ahead. Because I'm going to have to use my brain to overcome my physical limitations and possibly overcome challenges from the outside world. So I have learned to think ahead. And if you like, plan all the way to the end. Also, another important thing when it comes to being street smart is understanding and knowing your surroundings, whether you're at home and comfortable or outside. Know your surroundings. And also be willing to adapt, adopt, and overcome. As the SAS would say, who dares wins. This is all about being street smart. It is also about knowing how to use the resources you have available and keeping a regular inventory of what you have available. When I go out, I have a satchel with me, and I know in that I have a first aid kit and straws so I can have a drink when I'm out. So it's all important to be able to inventory your resources. I also love the book by Effie Pomporis, the former Secret Service agent, called Live a Peak Life. And in that book, she talks about the fight, flight, or freeze response. Every person, when in a crisis situation, will either have a fight, flight, or freeze response. And if you want to be able to handle a crisis, it's important to know what your response is going to be so you can go through that response and take the action you need to take. I also love the advice from Andrew Bustamante of Everyday Spy. He is a former CIA officer. And his advice is, in a chaotic emergency situation, do the most urgent thing first. So if you need to protect yourself from a car coming towards you, then you would take cover and protect yourself. Once you are safe, you would then see if the driver needs help. If they've crashed, you would see if make sure your loved ones are also safe and take the appropriate action, call emergency services, those sorts of things. The way to keep your mind calm in a dangerous situation is to do the most urgent thing first, and then you move down the line. Also, it's very important to know how to physically defend yourself and what you can use in your environment to protect yourself if necessary. And I say it's very important to learn verbal self-defense as well, and skills that might be able to help you de-escalate a situation before it turns violent. And by having a good sense of awareness, which I call a traffic light awareness, you have your green light when you're in your home environment, so you're always aware. When you go outside, you have your amber light, so that you're aware of who is around you, what vehicles are around you, all those sorts of things. And then you trust your gut and you turn to the red light is the most urgent situation, and you get yourself safe as soon as you can. And it's not about freaking out and being paranoid. It's about having a plan for each potential situation. Just because you're ready if something bad happens doesn't mean that you have to be afraid of something happening all the time. It's about staying calm and being street smart. Thank you for listening to me today. If you like this episode of the Live a Peak Life series, then share it with someone you think needs to build up their street IQ, and you can follow along with the rest of the Live a Peak Life series in the description linked below. I will be back soon with another episode. Thank you. Bye.